The following is a G&G production. From Springfield, Kentucky, it's the Washington County Forum 2022. You need to be informed. G&G Productions knows what's important for the informed voter. Now listen to comments from candidates vying for public office in Washington County for the primary and general elections. Find out more about your candidates. Find out more about how and where to vote in Washington County. Our coverage is brought to you by the Springfield Rotary Club. Now let's go live and free to the historic Opera House in downtown Springfield with our anchors of the Washington County Forum 2022, Hal B. Good and Jeff Moreland.
If it's important to you, it is important to G&G Productions. We are at the historic Opera House in downtown Springfield for G&G Productions' first ever, it's the first one, Washington County debate. As we're not having a debate, we're going to have a forum today. So it is the first forum that we've been able to put together and we're delighted to have you as a part of it as we'll be going through the day talking to those that have vied for office in Washington County. Hi, everybody. I'm Hal B. Good. G&G Production has had great success in high school basketball and football and doing festivals around the area. Well, today we want to try something different because as we've always tried to keep you informed, we want to do just that. The general election's in November, but the primary is in May. And some have chosen to come today to be able to talk and tell you about exactly why they're running for office, exactly why that passion is there for them. So we'll be talking to them in just a few moments. I am delighted to have not only a good friend, but a great journalist with me today, Jeff Moreland. Jeff's a longtime editor for many rural newspapers, as well as he's written major articles for major newspapers. Right now he's working with the Danville Advocate, but a long time at the Springfield Sun. So when it comes to Washington County politics, you've covered it here, Jeff, and welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be back here with you today, Hal.
Talking about, elections, some folks I've talked to say, well, maybe it's too early to talk about, elections. But since COVID-19, voting practices have changed, many things to that extent. What do you see any of the differences before COVID, after COVID, to what you see today?
Before COVID, I guess you could take a little bit more of a laid-back approach if you're a candidate, but now with early voting as an option, you really can't get out there soon enough to let people know your message, that you're running for office, what your platform is, what you plan to do if you're elected. I think it's very important that folks get out and really spread their information. I mean, if it's going to be social media, if you're not social media inclined, a lot of folks aren't, but your local newspaper is a great way to get that out there. Just get the word out and let people know you're running and what you're going to do and how you're going to serve them, because that's what people care about when it comes to an election. At the end of the day, is if you're in office, what are you going to do for me? How am I going to benefit from you?
Over the past 32 years, I've covered local politics in Washington County through 102.7 WOKH FM radio. Also been able to have a successful run for office as I served as Badger for 25 years. You look at that, and I worked with you when you were at the Springfield Sun. When you have someone coming in, working with the media is so important. And I know you've really preached that during your time here in Springfield.
Yes. And we usually in the newspapers, any community paper, you're going to see profiles, opportunities to get advertisements in there. There will usually be questionnaires where the paper will do something to ask people questions about their stance and what they plan to do. People want background information too. A lot of folks may assume that everybody knows me because I've always lived here in Washington County. But somebody at the Burg may not know somebody at the north end of the county. They may not even be acquainted. So again, just very important to get out there and let everybody know you, especially if you're in a county-wide race. That's very important.
Well, Jeff will be joining me here today, and we're going to be talking to individuals from around the county. Here's how we put it together. We reached out to everyone who has decided to run for a public office in Washington County and invited them to this event. Some have chose to come, some have not. But they were invited, and we definitely wanted them to come so we could put this out just as an introductory piece for folks to find out more about them. Our questions, well, it's not a debate. This is in no form a debate. It's a forum. Our questions may seem simple, but we do think that our questions are more about the individual. We feel that's important. You want to find out about who's going to be serving you. You want to find out what their thoughts and ideas are. That's strictly what our policy was today, is to be able to do that. And we have 10 individuals that have come today to be able to talk to you and give their message to you today. So we're glad to be here to put this together. We are going to start out with a special presentation. We're going to take our first time out. We come back. Outgoing Magistrate Terry Tingle will be joining us, along with the Mayor of Springfield, Debbie Wakefield. We'll be back in just a moment. This is a G&G production.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end.
We're back at the Opera House for the Washington County Forum, brought to you this day by the Springfield Rotary Club, who we do appreciate. We wanted to get this started off on the right field. We've told you what we want to do when we talk to our candidates and get a better feel for our candidates. But without the folks I'm sitting here with today, it would be impossible to really see a lot of things in Washington County occur. First of all, Mr. Green is here with us today. I'm talking about my good friend, Dr. John Isaacs Jr. He is going to be in the play Clue, but he's also the president of the Rotary Club. And Doc, we are so delighted that the Rotary Club is a part of our forum today.
Yeah, first off, I think I'm punked. I was told this is going to be a costume party. So good one, Al.
I just didn't wear the colors today. I was Colonel Mustard. I was Colonel Mustard. So that's why.
We spoke a couple of weeks ago at the Rotary Club, and you told us what you were doing. We decided to get behind this thing and help you out. Every time that you do something, we want to be involved in it. You're always good for the community. We want to be there. This is a good message to let. It gives all the candidates an opportunity to say their piece and make their claims. So we're glad to be involved.
And the Springfield Rotary Club has always been a part of many community activities. I'm sure the mayor could echo about the Idle Hour Park and the equipment you have out there. Terry could even talk about it. I know the Rotary Club even cheered the magistrates on when we were looking for countywide water, which you serve on that board as well.
Exactly, without a doubt. This is something that probably needed to be done years ago, and I'm glad you stepped up and did it.
Thank you. Yeah. We appreciate it, Dr. Ives. Sure. When's Clue come before you get rid of that microphone?
Of course, today we're doing our first dress rehearsal, so we have everybody lined up. I think they're going to come in and say hello to us.
We can do that before this. We need to.
Yeah, so it's going to be this coming weekend and the following weekend. Don't know the dates, but it's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 2 weekends in a row.
Sounds good. Springfield Mayor Debbie Wakefield has just done a wonderful job. We've talked about the city of Springfield. You getting involved and have decided not to run for the position of mayor.
That's right.
You've done a nice job. Talk about what you feel like some of the accomplishments have been for you, Debbie.
Well, I don't want to talk about that. Hal, I can't talk about myself, but it is a team.
You'd be the first one to say that.
But we're still working on. We still have our long-term goals. And one thing, since Dr. Isaac talked about the Rotary, they had collaborated with the city and did a wonderful job out at the reservoir. If anybody ever gets a chance to go out there to the reservoir out on Booker Road, go out there and see it. Everything that the Rotary has done with the park out there, it's really, really nice. So some things that we've done, we meaning the city council, we are still working on our splash pad. We're just about there to approve it and to go ahead and get this ordered and to get it out there at Idle Hour Park. We're very excited about that. This has been a long time coming since we closed our swimming pool in 2008. Now, awesome. There's some people who still want a swimming pool, and then one day that may happen. But right now, we will have a splash pad. I can't tell you the date that it will be open, but it has been approved. The money is there, and we're moving forward with it. So we're tickled to death about that. And so,
how important is it for candidates to get their name out and just really talk about their positions? With you going out, that's some things that folks may look to you always on the side for advice. But what would you tell anyone that's running for office in public office?
Well, I want to echo what you all said earlier. You just don't assume that people know you. They may know you in one sense, but not know maybe some of your business background. A lot of people didn't realize when they first saw my name on the ballot, Debbie Wakefield's running for mayor. She works for the Farm Service Agency. What does she know about running another business? So anyway, I think you need to tell them, again, what your platform is. Tell them what you see. Tell them what you want to do for the community. Some of your ideas may be short-term. Some of them may be long-term. I had several ideas that I thought I could push through and make things happen, and found out a lot of rules and regulations that the city has to abide by that I couldn't do.
Right.
So utilize your staff that you have there.
Right.
Utilize them. They're excellent. They're great. They're experienced. Of course, the city, we've had some turnover because we've had some retirements. And so, but they are excellent. And again, your staff will guide you through. The city council will, the magistrates, whatever race you're running for. Even if you're running for sheriff, you still have a staff there. Rely on them. Have a good working relationship, and have a good working relationship with other entities in the community. Get out there and volunteer more.
Excellent. Excellent.
But again, just tell about yourself. Tell what you want to do. And most importantly, and one thing I had to learn a little bit more, my parents always told me, you need to listen. Listen, listen, listen.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you being here. And appreciate Terry Tingle coming in. Terry has been a magistrate I served with for at least 25 years. When did you run for magistrate? And how long have you been a magistrate in Washington County?
I came on court in 1989.
Talk about your district too.
Well, I've got a great district. District 1, it takes about 20 to 21% of the county roads. It's a pretty good size area. It includes Mooresville, Brush Grove, and Sharpsville. It runs around kind of the edge of the county. It's a lot of great people in it.
I served with Terry, as I mentioned a moment ago, for 25 years, and I know Terry and I had our definitely sidebars about roads and about water, but Terry Tingle was a man that stood by me when we went to the Springfield Water many years ago, and Terry, I compliment you for that because it was good to go together, and I know that's one that was a really big help for the people of Washington County you were involved with.
Oh, yeah, yes. We went to the water company, and, we didn't get much satisfaction, but, we had me and Hal both, in each one of the districts, we had a lot of great people out there that tried to help us to get the paperwork done and get easements signed and everything. And then they finally came up with a grant that came down Brush Grove Road, Poland Road, and they went to more areas in the county. And that's really kind of what got the water started. And after that, the water company looked like it kind of turned around. It looked like they realized that, they could, at least make a little money there probably, trying to sell water. And, right now, I guess, as far as I know, the water's countywide.
Kind of like I asked the mayor a moment ago, what advice would you give to any of the individuals running for magistrate in your area? You have 4 that are vying for your position, but you've seen a lot of things since you became magistrate.
Yes.
But you've seen a lot of changes as well.
We've seen a lot of changes.
What would be on your mind if someone asked you one of those?
Well, we put countywide garbage out there. That was a very big deal. We got 911. I sat on the board of it for about 25 years. It was a big deal. Fooling with all that stuff, and a lot of the roads were graveled. It's been a lot of blacktop laid over the years, and it's just been a lot of things done. And a magistrate's job, it's a real important job.
It is.
It's not a job you just think that you can do easy. It's a 24-hour day job. People, you never know when they're going to call you.
Right.
And you never know what's on somebody's mind. I mean, I tell people when I go out there, look, guys, if y'all see something the magistrate can help you, I said, I come down the road, but I'll probably look over it a lot of times. Call me. Tell me what we need to, work toward or whatever,
And it's funny, sitting here talking to Terry, I've always appreciated Terry. When I first came in as magistrate, someone said, if Terry speaks to you, it's something you better listen to. And that's probably the most I've heard you speak in my 25 years that I served with y'all. But it's all to the heart, and I know that's one reason why we wanted to bring you in today, and I appreciate you coming. We wanted to give something to both of you from G&G Productions and the Rotary Club, just for being a part of our whole political piece that we're trying to do today with this forum. We wanted to give you, from our board of directors and from the Springfield Rotary, a barrel stave that recognizes your tenure and your time that you spent as mayor, and Terry, for you as magistrate in District Number 1. I know I speak on behalf of the Rotary Club and G&G that we appreciate your service.
Thank you so much. I didn't expect that. Thank you so much.
Well, and thank you for being with us today. We do appreciate what you're doing. Keep it right here. We're going to be back, and we're going to get started with the forum. It's all a G&G production.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed. G&G Productions. We're live and free. Production of high school athletics, as well as local community events, and keeping your community informed with political forums. And if you're a candidate looking for social media presence, you need to talk to G&G Production. We can do the production at G&G. If you'd like more information, contact Hal Good at 859-481-2600. G&G Production, taking Marion, Nelson, and Washington County by storm, because we're live and free.
Hal Good, along with Jeff Moreland, as we're starting our forum now and getting things underway, and just glad to be a part of it. And we wanted to thank the mayor for also the use of the Opera House for this public event we're doing. Our first individual we're going to talk to is Chris Essex. Chris is with the City Council and has put his name in to run for mayor of the City of Springfield. Welcome. We're glad to have you here today, Chris. Chris, let's just start out. Let's talk about Chris Essex. Tell everybody about Chris.
Chris Essex. I'm born and raised here in Springfield. Went to elementary at St. Dominic's, graduated Washington County High School. I'm married to a great lady, Katie Essex, who's a teacher in Nelson County. I have 4 children. My daughter, Quincy, she teaches at Nelson County as well. My son, Keith, he goes to ECTC. I got a son, Carson, who is a senior and graduating, and he'll be going to Lindsey Wilson in the fall. Then there's my son, Luke, who is my football player, and he'll be a freshman this coming up. But, I'm working on Snappy. I have 25 years worth of manufacturing experience, and, it's great to be here. I mean, this is a good forum to have this close to primary in general. So it's a good time to start stuff.
Thank you, Chris. Jeff?
Chris, you've been in office as a council member. Tell us a little bit about your decision to run for office, the mayor office. It's going to be a different position. I know I talked with Debbie earlier when she was here. She said after serving on council herself, she got on board as the mayor and saw that it was a whole different ballgame. Tell us about your decision to go that direction.
Well, I've been a city councilman for 6 years. And running for mayor, it's as a lifelong resident, it was time for me to take the next step to help lead us going forward into this community. I'm blessed to have a small business here, so I'm blessed to know a lot of the people, So I meet a lot of people, talk to a lot of people. I'm a proud supporter of the school system. So doing everything that I have done with the school system, with their supporting their athletics, their academics, and their group, but I see more than that. I see a community here, and I think we need to be a more cohesive unit and a community that can grow. I mean, we need to grow. So that's got me, I think that I want to take the next step and lead us into that path.
Chris, let's talk just for a moment about the position of mayor of Springfield. We talked to outgoing Mayor Debbie Wakefield just a few moments ago, but talk about that position because you've worked with that position and things that you've done to work alongside or things that you see in the community as others maybe have worked alongside with the current mayor.
Right. Well, being part of the city council, that it prepares you to be in the position of mayor because you already know the routines, the practices, the policies, the procedures. Like Mayor said, there's a lot of things that go on. You think you can do something, but then there's a lot of stuff within guidelines that won't allow you to do things. But I want to take that further. So, I want to support and encourage entrepreneurship here in Springfield. People always ask, I get this all the time, they'll ask me, why can't the city build such and such? Why can't the city bring in this? The city can't build and bring in like a bowling alley or something. That's up to the citizens. But to say that you can't come and we can see what we can do as a city to help you get to that point, that's what I want to do. There's opportunities. I see several opportunities of voices within this community to be heard. And I want every voice to be valued here because that's what makes a city and a community a community.
We're talking to Chris Essex. Chris Essex is a candidate for the Springfield mayor position. Jeff?
Chris, you talked about you want to see growth in the community. Talk us about three things maybe that you can make us 2 or 3 things you can see that are really crucial for the future of Springfield and that growth that you'd like to see as a resident here.
Well, the main thing that I want to see is recruiting and retaining small and large businesses. We as a town, I know there's a lot that do small business such as but they also do some home businesses. I want to see those people grow, bring some businesses to Main Street. I also would like to see a manufacturing facility, another one. We've grown our water company. We've got some property. Get us another manufacturing facility, and we have some people out there that, need jobs, need to work. Also, I want to make us, like I said before, a more cohesive community. I want to see people that necessarily don't think they have value in what they say that come to the city council meetings, give us their opinions because it's about what they see that we might not see. I try to get out and about to every neighborhood. I've been all around Springfield, and there's things that we don't see that maybe they do, and they can tell us. And the third thing is forward thinking. We have to always think, what can we do as a city, as a community, to get out of the box? Think out of the box, forward thinking. Forward thinking moves you forward, and that's what I want to do. I want to move us forward in this community.
As you're campaigning in the city of Springfield, you talked and made some good points on what you'd like to see. What do you want your voters to know? What would you want them to know about Chris Essex as you start going door to door this summer?
Well, the one thing is you can depend on me. Okay, I've had phone calls at 9 o'clock, and as a city councilman, we'd get phone calls at 9 o'clock at night with someone that might have an issue, and I've gotten up, I've gone and investigated. I went through the proper channels to try to get it solved. My phone number, if you don't have it, I'll put it out there. It's 859-481-3283. You can call me. You can text me. You can also get on Facebook. This is where this is going today. Get on Facebook, friend me. You can send me messages through that way, and I will call. But that's the thing, take measures that need to address all these problems. You have to be available. You can't just hide behind and say, I'll get to it later. If you come and see me and talk to me, then I'm going to address your issue, and I'm going to find out problems, and I'm going to try to give you an answer. And that's the one thing you can do. I want to be a voice, a transparent voice of this city with no self-agenda, none whatsoever, and ask for your vote in the upcoming election in November.
Jeff, anything to add?
No, you mentioned the being available all the time. You guys are a little bit different. We had Terry Tingle in who said he handled about 20% of the county's roads. As a city council member, you don't really have a district, so you still anything in the city limits is still coming to a council member. So that's a responsibility, and a little bit like what the mayor would see if you're elected to that position. You would see a citywide responsibility. So. Anything that you think maybe is preparation from having that experience with the city?
That's right. It's like I said, I've had people not just, I live in one little area of Springfield, but you can call me from this area, that area. It doesn't matter. All the city council people are available to ask anything. If you choose to, you want to go talk to the one that you might be able to talk to more, come see me. I'm very honest, and Hal's known me for a while, so I'm upfront, honest. I'll tell you things that you know that you want to know. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. That's just how we have to do things. And I'm just brutally honest. But I'm going to find out what problem you have. I'm going to find out a solution, and we're going to work on it from there. It may not be a great solution. It may take a while to fix things, but we're going to do it.
Down to a couple of minutes left. What are some of the final thoughts that you'd like to pass along as we're finishing up this interview to the voting public of Springfield?
Well, just for the public, you know, I've been here as your city councilman for 6 years. I volunteer for everything. I'm a father. I'm a volunteer. I've been a leader. And if you have ever met me and known me, you know that I'm going to do what I can for this community. I'm very community oriented. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to talk to you, and we're going to figure out what we need to do to move this city of Springfield forward into the future.
Chris, we're grateful for your time to come in today, and thank you very much. Again, we've been talking to Chris Essex. He is a candidate for mayor for the city of Springfield. Keep it right here. More to come with the Washington County Forum on G&G Productions.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end. G&G Productions. We're live and free. Production of high school athletics, as well as local community events, and keeping your community informed with political forums. And if you're a candidate looking for social media presence, you need to talk to G&G Production. We can do the production at G&G. If you'd like more information, contact Hal Good at 859-481-2600. G&G Production, taking Marion, Nelson, and Washington County by storm, because we're live and free.
Back here at the Opera House in downtown Springfield for the first ever for G&G Production. It is the Washington County Forum. Now we have going to have this on Facebook, so make sure to like and to share this page with all your friends, because anyone can watch it all over the world. We're glad to have alongside with us a candidate for Magistrate District Number 2, Willisburg and the Courthouse, Timmy A. McAvoy, the Democrat. And Tim, we are so glad to have you alongside. Let's talk about Timmy McAvoy for a minute as we get started.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, glad to be here, Hal and Jeff. And I'm Tim McAvoy. I'm running for District 2 in Willisburg. It's one of the bigger districts. I'm married to Katrina Chester for 33 years now, coming up on it. I got 3 kids, 5 grandkids, and little Charlie, everybody knows him in the wheelchair, works out at Wendy's, I think, and that's, I think I might be able to try to do something good out in Magistrate. And District 2 is pretty good size. I think we got the lake and all that in the area, so.
Yeah.
I think I'll do pretty good, I hope, anyway.
Good area out in that area.
Yes,
Jeff?
sir.
Is there anything particular that made you say, hey, this is something I want to run for? Have you ever run for office before? And what maybe made you say, you know, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring there and see if I can get elected? What made you make that decision?
No, sir, never have run for no political office. I've had several people come up to me over the last few years and say, well, I think you'd be a good candidate to try for it. Yeah. You're level-headed. I've been in management and supervisor for over 35 years. Okay. So I know how to, you know, stay kind of level-headed, and I know it's going to be an opportunity to move on to the future. So,
talk some more about the magistrate, the position itself. I mean, it seems like there with the Willisburg Courthouse, it's a lot of the rural part of Washington County with the Willisburg area, and then the courthouse, some of the city there. Right. Talk a little bit about, you know, looking at being a magistrate and what that job consists of?
Right. I think we have a lot of concerns because Wilkesburg, the school out there, is very big. And in the morning time and afternoons, if you've ever been out there during the traffic, I think we need to improve our roads, especially 53. It's pretty dangerous. And also, we have a big Amish community out there. There's a lot of people in Washington County like Amish. If you come up on a buggy or a horse, one of them riding on a horse or a little buggy, it's pretty dangerous. And I think we need maybe more signs and stuff like that out there to keep the roads safe, more guards, and improve some of the roads out there. The drainage, it is kind of bad down toward 53 going into Wilkesburg down that way. I think we need to help that. And I think our lake system out there too, I think we may need to, the water, it does supply the county, but it does in drought years, it gets drained pretty good. And I think the Corps of Engineers is looking into that down the road. I'll have to investigate that down the road, I think, and see what happens and see if we can improve the water system because sometimes it'll drain back 40, 50 feet off the bank, even maybe more. So, and I think the county doesn't see that unless they're going to Lexington or Taylorsville somewhere.
Right.
But it is, and the industry, that's what will bring industry in and get good water supply. So, and that's one thing I think about too. I know we need to improve, and get more jobs in here, but I think we need to help the people that are here already, like Inowac, Toy told me, in the small businesses, it is very hard to find people working right now. And I know you've heard it, and I know everybody's heard it in the county and nationwide, and we have just got to help them out, and it's pretty hard. I'm still currently working at Inowac, been there for 3 years, and it's pretty tough getting people in there to work, especially more than a week or two. So they come in, they don't like it, they move right on. It is a worker's job market right now. So
We're talking to Timmy McAvoy. Tim is a candidate for Magistrate District Number 2, which is Willisburg and the courthouse. Jeff?
You talked a little bit about some things in the district that you're seeking to serve. Talk about some of the things you see that would be crucial for the entire county, for Springfield and all of Washington County, that you think that maybe need to be goals or focus, and how you may work as a member if you're elected with the council or the board for that.
Yes, I'll learn the magistrate job and duties and all that as we go along. And I think the county in general, the roads are very, very busy now. I remember you wouldn't see a semi anymore. Now you can't get out on the roads without semis. I think we just need to improve the light system out here at 150 and 555 is very dangerous. And I think we need caution lights back before. I'm more into the safety, and I think that'll help improve. Nobody wants to have bad wrecks, and we have one out there, it seems like monthly. And I think we need to work with ARC and Isaiah House for our EMTs and all that. I don't think they run out there as much as they used to, but we need to improve that too, because I see a lot of people walk on and off, and I know it's very dangerous. To help the county, I know Sweet is very good about trying to get jobs in here and everything, but we need to support the people that are already here and get the jobs there. That's I think it's what we need to do, but and there'll be more opportunity down the road too.
When you and again, I noticed your shirt, your service. You served as in the military, but also I know you work alongside with the color guard and the VFW you were talking about a moment ago. Talk about that piece of your career.
Yes, I did 4 years in the Air Force as security police, and then I did 2 years reserve, and then I got out. And about 8 years ago, they come to me and asked me to be on the Marion County Honor Guard. Well, Paul Powell, he was the chief master sergeant, so all we only do 4 or 5 a month like that. Lo and behold, last year we did 107.
Wow.
So we go in basically about 20 counties. It's an honor to do the funerals for our service members who have died and passed away. I just did 2 this week, and there's 1 today actually.
Yeah.
So stay very busy and stay really busy with, I'm not so much in the American Legion, but the Honor Guard. I do take care of our monument out in Wilkesburg. It's about the only monument we have in the county for the veterans. It even goes back to the Revolutionary War. So I try to keep that cleaned up and all that nice and neat. And it's a lot. I think we need to take care of our veterans.
Indeed.
It's very long time coming. And I used to talk to some of the guys come back from Vietnam. And they did go through the California experience, getting off the planes, being spit on. And it's not very nice. Back then and up to the 80s. The military is kind of just stole to the side. But luckily now, I think people are more into it. And I do that in the military. Then I help Charlie. He's my son. He's big time into Crusade for Children. So he collects money. He's the fire department. at Wilkesburg, but he's made over $3,000 or $4,000 for the Crusade for Children by himself. So
That's great.
and everybody knows Charlie. I think he's in the wheelchair, and we've done and went through all the surgeries and all that. So I understand people who have children that are
Sure,
sick and in
sure,
need. I do
sure.
understand that.
Sure. Jeff, some
Been great having you
follow-up
with us. As we
questions?
get ready to wrap up a little bit. Tell us, what would you like to tell the voters today? Just one last good statement, if you have something to say to the voters of Washington County today.
If I'm elected as, District 2 magistrate, I'll do everything I can. I'll answer your phone. I'll try to be there before or after anything comes up or arises. Like I said, I will learn the job, know what all we need to do. The district is very big, and I plan on going around and visiting everybody and giving my views of what I think should happen in the county. If we get it done, we're going to try our best to get it done. I'll work with the county judge and do what we can.
Sure. Well, we appreciate you being here today. We want to remind anyone that's viewing this that Tim McAvoy running for this office is not a part of the primary. He only will be running for the voting piece in the November general election.
Right, that's right.
So he'll be a part of that. Any closing comments?
No, I appreciate your time. Thank
No,
you, Jeff.
we
Thank you,
appreciate your time, and thank you for putting your name out to run for magistrate here in Washington County.
And I hope I get it.
Again, Timmy McAvoy. He's a candidate for magistrate district number 2, Willisburg, and the courthouse. Keep it right here. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff for our next interview that's going to be coming up. It'll be John Graves. He's a candidate for magistrate district number 5, the library, and the new armory. That'll be next right here on G&G Productions.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end.
Hi, I am John Hayden. I am your candidate for mayor of Springfield. Many people have asked me why I want to run for mayor. After some thought, I realized that my purpose is I love to serve. I am a leader in the business world. I am a family man, a husband to my wife Rose, a father to 4 children, and my favorite of all, granddaddy to 5 little ones. I love to serve in the community, and I do it well. I feel that those things about my personality are a little of what I have to offer to the community that we all call home. I humbly ask for your vote in November and would love for you and your family to hop on our campaign trail with my family and I. Paid for by John C. Hayden for mayor.
Hello and welcome back to the Washington County Forum here with G&G Productions. We will continue today as we bring on John Graves. John is currently the District 5 magistrate. John is the Democrat serving in that seat, and he's seeking re-election today. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about his service, his desire to continue to serve Washington County. So we'll get started with John. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and just let the folks know a little bit more about you that may not know you.
Thanks, Jeff. I was born and raised in Washington County. I live about a quarter mile from where I grew up with my mom and dad, George and Glenna Graves. I currently reside there off Booker Road with my wife, Marie, of 20 years. And I've got 3 kids, Gracie, Jackson, and Presley. I try not to call them by their middle names, but it's so easy that normally do. So this has been my home for my entire life, and this is my way to give back.
Great. Well, you're already seated as an elected official, but you decided at one point to run. Why did you decide to run initially, or why are you deciding to run again? What is it that made you say, this is something I need to do and need to be involved with?
My dad was the circuit clerk for several years here in Washington County, and I saw the bar that he set with giving back to the community and being a public official. And I've been in the private sector working for several years, but had that itch to give back to my community. And this was one way that I could do that. Is be a magistrate. It's a part-time role with full-time full-time personal benefits for me. It gives me a chance to give back to the community on a regular basis.
Great. Talk a little bit about that position, what a magistrate does, and what you've done. You've been in one term. What have you done and things that you feel proud to have accomplished and been part of here as a magistrate in your term?
You know, I'm blessed to be a part of a great court with all 6 of us. We talk things through. We really work together to try to look at holistically what's best for Washington County. You know, Judge Graves has been a proponent of all of us working together, and we've done that very well. In my area, you know, probably the biggest project that we've gotten done is, besides the Manton Road being re-blacktop and Johnson Road being blacktopped, is we raised the Booker Road out of the floodplain. It 3, 4, 5 times a year, it would flood, and it wouldn't stay closed long, but it would stay closed long enough that if an ambulance needed to serve, you know, 11 or 1,200 people on that side of the county, that it was trouble. So Judge Graves and I worked together, and with the state was able to get some federal money to pay for that project. It was a $250,000 project that Washington County supported, and we got $100,000 from the feds to come in and raise that road up so that it's no longer closed during inclement weather.
Great. Talk a little bit about some of the things that you see critical for Washington County and Springfield's future. What do you think is really something that, you know, 3 good items that need to take place or you'd like to see take place to make Washington County an even better place for the citizens?
I think we've got to continue with the infrastructure improvements. You know, we've done that with the water company. We've done that with roads, as Washington County was just announced is getting almost $25 million in road and bridge projects over the next 2 years in the biennium budget. One of those projects is near and dear to my area, and that's the replacement and rehab of St. Rose Bridge. That bridge has been looked at for 20 years, and we got $1.5 million, again, working with the judge and working with Jimmy Higdon and working with Kim King, to get that money in Washington County, and that project's scheduled to be done in FY24. And, you know, so we got infrastructure we've got to continue with. Workforce development, you know, we've got to continue to train our young people and retrain our more experienced constituents to jobs that are needed now. You know, the economic development doesn't look like it did 15 years ago. And I think with the retraining or training, the infrastructure projects, and we have to look for what economic development projects are coming down the pike. It may be a small business of 5, or it may be a large business like a bourbon distillery of 300. But we've got to be ready for those when they come in, not after they get here.
Sure. Okay. And tell me just a little bit, you know, I know we've got a little bit of time, but talk a little bit about what you'd like to tell the voters today about what's important about getting out to vote, why they should get out and vote, and just things that are important about this election to you and what you think they need to know as they prepare to go vote.
Well, most importantly is I think everybody should exercise the right to vote. I mean, you know, as all your candidates will tell you, it is very important when you get that call from one of your constituents, and it doesn't matter if it's something you can handle or not. They just need to know that there's somebody out there that may have a broader scope or may know, you know, where some other levers are that can be pulled in direction. So it's important to get out and vote, but and it doesn't matter the candidate you want for. Obviously, I'd love everybody to vote for me, but just exercising that right to vote keeps everybody involved in that process. So, you know, it's a very powerful tool. You know, I take the time every time a constituent calls to try to answer their questions. I don't always have the answer that they want, but I do my best to explain why we're in the situation, what we can do to alleviate it.
Sure. And maybe tell us a little bit about what it's like working as a member. You know, as part of the court, you are one arm of a group there, so you all have to work as a team. Talk a little bit about that teamwork and what you all do to work together to accomplish things if you can.
It's, you know, and again, we've got a great court that's assembled now, and it's a lot of phone calls, just, you know, questions. You know, Bobby Lee Russell has got experience with things, and Terry Tingle's got experience with things, and Steve Devine's got experience with things. Philip and Phil Kirko and Kenny Harden, we all come from different backgrounds and businesses and perspectives, and just having those relationships, say, well, you know, what do you think about this? Okay, you know, there's things that I'm not good at, you know, and so just gathering those resources so we make a great decision for Washington County. That's the best thing that we can do is work together. And not look at, you know, this is District 5 or District 1 priority. It's a Washington County priority. What's good for everybody in Washington County? Because when Washington County wins, the districts win, and then we all win as a community.
Excellent. We have John Graves here with us, District 5 Magistrate, Democrat, seeking office and seeking re-election. I want to thank John for his time today. John, appreciate you coming out, talking with us, talking to the voters. And thank you very much. Wish you the best of luck. We will take a break, and we'll be back here in just a moment with G&G Productions.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end. G&G Productions. We're live and free. Production of high school athletics, as well as local community events, and keeping your community informed with political forums. And if you're a candidate looking for social media presence, you need to talk to G&G Production. We can do the production at G&G. If you'd like more information, contact Hal Good at 859-481-2600. G&G Production, taking Marion, Nelson, and Washington County by storm, because we're live and free.
Back here at the Opera House in downtown Springfield, Hal Good. Glad to have you alongside Jeff Moreland as well, bringing you this first ever by G&G Productions, as we want you to meet the candidates and get a chance to know those candidates up front before any primary or definitely before the general election comes about. Bobby Lee Russell is magistrate for District Number 3, Cardwell, Mackville, Pottsville. Know the area well, but we're very appreciative of you being here, Bobby Lee. I call him Bobby Lee, so but Bobby Lee Russell has served one term as magistrate. No opposition in the fall, or the primary. So again, he runs again for that seat. And let's talk a little bit about you, Bobby Lee. Tell the folks out there in the area about Bobby Lee Russell. You're a Republican candidate. So talk about Bobby Lee Russell a moment.
Well, I lived in the area since I was born. I'm probably within a 3-mile wradius, I guess, of where I was raised at. And so I've been in this district my whole life, which would be almost 60 years in August. So I know the area well, know the people really well, and so I've had a heart for service, for my community. So I've served a lot in my community, with the fire department. I've been on the fire department almost 40 years now, and so active in my church, and of course in different aspects of the county. I've served on different boards with the extension office and leadership Washington County, a lot of different things. So just really like to be of service to my community.
Well, in a professional manner, you worked for the school system and you served in the military. Talk about that.
I was in the Guard for 22 years and, of course, served active duty during the Persian Gulf in 90 and 91, so I was overseas for that. Proud of that service and what we were able to do. And, then with the school service, I've been with them. I'm still working with them, so I've been there almost 40 years, too. So I'm not one to sit still too long. So, but anyway, that's.
What made you decide to run for magistrate? Talk a little bit about that piece.
Well, you may know the former magistrate. He kind of took me under his wing.
I knew a little bit about him. He's got a big enough wing.
Yeah,
so.
he kind of took me under his wing a while back and started showing me the ropes and kind of mentoring me along about how the job worked and different things like that aspect. We'd go out riding around and checking roads and things together. So, Hal, I appreciate you doing that. And so after you decided to step down, and I thought it was time for me to step up and do that. And so really enjoyed it, and I appreciate, the help that you give me along the way and taught me. So I didn't really come into the job cold or not knowing anything, but I did come in pretty green, but felt like I did kind of have a foot up, with the background of how things worked and what to expect. So I wasn't really, hit in the back with anything I wasn't expecting. So
You come in, though, even some of the things that we've talked about, working with this fiscal court, and it seems like that you've been able to come in and work on some of the issues that were pretty prevalent there in District Number 3. Talk about some things you feel like this court's done to help improve your area.
one of the biggest things I think is the way we handle the roads. Of course, you know that when you were in there, I think you all divided the money 6 different ways, and District 3 has got the most road mileage, I think, of all of them. So when you divide the money equal ways, that means District 3 is getting less money. So this court has gone in and we put a scoring system together of the roads and graded them so that we know which is the worst and which are the best. And so instead of going by districts, when we get money and able to do roads, we go by the worst roads first so that we're getting our worst roads up in better shape. So just an example, we were able to get enough money to chip and seal 7 different roads a year before last, and of those 7, 5 of them came out of District 3. So we didn't really pay any attention to district, and I don't want to say we're taking away from any other district, but we are getting the worst roads, trying to get those up in shape. So really like the way we're handling that. So
Talking to Bobby Russell, and Bobby Lee Russell is Magistrate District Number 3. Let's talk a little bit about the future of Springfield and Washington County. You've been in one term, getting ready to come into another term. What do you think are 2 to 3 things that are very critical to the future of Springfield and Washington County?
I think number 1 right now is the jail fund. We're having a tough time with the jail fund. This year, our budget is almost pushing $800,000 for the jail fund. And I'm going to say within a year or 2, we're going to hit $1 million pretty easy unless there's a drastic change. We've got to find ways to address that, to get that cost down, because all that money is out of the pockets of Washington County residents and not able to go to where we would better see it served or like to see it served. So we've got to work on that. I think that's our number 1 priority. I think the next thing would be trying to get our salaries for across the board up, especially with our sheriffs and the EMS workers, to get them comparable with surrounding counties, because it seems like we get them early and start training them and get them up and trained, and then they get offered better money somewhere else, so they move on, and so we've got to get more competitive with that and try to keep those people here to, to serve us. And so then the third thing, of course, is always going to be roads. So that's just always going to be an issue. So, but we're constantly working on that. So.
Yeah, the recent announcement for road work being done in Washington County, and you mentioned that you all are working together. That's a real plus for the county.
I know
comment on that?
I know there's more. Like 150 is going to be a lot of major work done on that. Several bridges going to be put in, and we've put in. I think we're up to 9 bridges that we've put in over the last 3 years, and of course a lot of them needed to be replaced, but we had 1 or 2 that were emergencies. That one that just fell in, but. We had to take care of, so we were able to get some help with that. But so it's a lot of infrastructure work going on, and the money that we're going to bring in the next little bit. So hopefully, people in the county see a lot of good work going on. So.
No opposition as of yet. Of course, you could talk right in and the feasibility if someone did, but that shows a lot for you in your position. But it also shows a lot for a Republican candidate like Bobby Lee to come in today to talk without that, because a lot of times if that's hanging over your head, not having that, some folks will just put that aside.
Yeah.
What would you want to talk to your constituency and also the whole county of Washington County? You're here today. What would you want them to know that this Washington County court is doing, and as a magistrate, you want to continue to see happen in District Number 3?
Well, right now, I think that our court is working together, not really centered on our districts, but what's best for the county. And not that we're forgetting our districts. We're not. We're taking care of them. But we're working together, and I really, really like that, the way everyone's getting along. And not to say that we don't always agree on everything, but we're able to disagree and come to the best decision, for the court. And so I'd like to see that continue on. And then for the people out there, I don't have anybody running against me right now, but I still want them to know that I appreciate their help and their support, because, without them, they make my job easier, because they call and let me know what's going on in their areas and what their needs are. And, I get a few calls thanking us for the things that we've got going on. I got a card this week in the mail of a lady thanking me for a job that was done on her road, and that means a lot. So you don't ever want to take for granted the job that you're given, because it's a privilege to do this job and an honor. And I appreciate the people that support me and do that and give me words of encouragement, like I say, that call me and let me know of issues. I know they think that sometimes they're being a headache to me, but they're not, because I need to know these things. I need to know how to take care of them and how to serve them. And sometimes I can't help them, but sometimes I can. If I can, I do. And I've always prided myself on answering my phone, and if I don't answer them, I always return their calls. And so they seem to appreciate that I do that. So I just want to thank the people for their support. So it makes the job a whole lot easier.
Any closing comments?
Like I said, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time, the offer you give us to come in here and sit down. I said I didn't have to, because, like I said, I didn't have anybody run against me, but it was a good opportunity to come in to share our thoughts and what we're doing as a court, and thank the people for helping me along the way. So.
Thank you. Bobby Lee Russell, Republican candidate for Magistrate District Number 3. As he mentioned, no opposition in the primary or the general election in November. Keep it right here. When we come back, we're going to talk to another magistrate, Magistrate District Number 6. Fredericktown City Hall. That's Philip Carrico. It's next on G&G Productions.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end.
Hi, I am John Hayden. I am your candidate for mayor of Springfield. Many people have asked me why I want to run for mayor. After some thought, I realized that my purpose is I love to serve. I am a leader in the business world. I am a family man, a husband to my wife Rose, a father to 4 children, and my favorite of all, granddaddy to 5 little ones. I love to serve in the community, and I do it well. I feel that those things about my personality are a little of what I have to offer to the community that we all call home. I humbly ask for your vote in November and would love for you and your family to hop on our campaign trail with my family and I. Paid for by John C. Hayden for mayor.
Welcome back to the historic Opera House in downtown Springfield. Hal Goode, Jeff Moreland. We've been anchoring down this program today. This is, if you're just tuning in, it's called a forum, a Washington County Forum. We're introducing candidates for the primary and the general election throughout our programming today. And you can send this anywhere. We encourage you to like this, so it'll go to your page. It'll also have others that want to watch and find out about the candidates and about your city government in Springfield and county government in Washington County. Well, this is a perfect opportunity as well, because we're going to talk to Philip Carrico, Magistrate District Number 6, Fredericktown and City Hall, finishing up his first term. He has no opposition in the primary, none in the general election, so very similar to Bobby Lee Russell. But we appreciate you coming in to talk about Washington County. Let's first of all talk about Philip Carrico. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I'm Philip Carrico, and I reside on Cane Run Road in Fredericksburg, or the Burg. Graduated with Hal Goode here. So
I would put that on my resume.
So, I'm married to Tammy Carrico. We have 2 children. We've been married for 30 plus years, I think now. It's hard to remember.
That's great.
But I have a son named Jordan, Lauren. They're 25 and 23. They both have public jobs now, so that's a good thing, bringing some income to the family instead of me having to put everything out all the time. But like I said, I reside on Cane Run Road in the Burg, and I'm owner and operator of Carrico Body Shop, and have done that since 1989. As far as my background, I grew up in the Burg. I've always been passionate for the Burg. Used to know everybody that lived in your community, but there's a lot of people came in and go, and there's community. I won't say we're not as close as we used to be, but you don't know all of your neighbors that move in and everything anymore. And you properties go up for sale. You get people from out of state and come in, but they're all, for the most part, everybody's good, and as far as our, the community and I've done a lot of work for people throughout the community in the whole county and surrounding counties fixing their vehicles when they have a problem, and just that's kind of me in a nutshell, I guess. I come from a large family.
Right.
11 brothers and sisters, so that's and it's good when you get older that you can turn to them for things. But overall, like I said, I live in the Burg and glad to be a part of Washington County.
Well, thanks for being here today, Jeff.
Yeah. You're finishing up your first term and seeking a second term now. What made you decide originally to say, hey, I want to be a magistrate and work in this role for Washington County?
Well, Greg Sims, of course, he came to me several years ago and said he was thinking about stepping down, and they wanted somebody he thought could represent the county. And I said, well, you might want to look for somebody else, because I know nothing about running government or anything, didn't have a clue what it was about. But time fast approaches, and it was election time 4 years ago, and I threw my hat in and got lucky and won the race. As you say, I know a lot of people, and I do good work, and I think I'm trustworthy, and I try to help people with whatever we can do for them. I mean, you get people throughout the county that come to you or whatever. It may be somebody in Bobby Lee's or Kenny's or wherever, but they'll know me and they say, hey, what do you think? Can you help us out with this or that? And, it's not just the Burg area, and, and City Hall, it's up here, it's throughout the whole county.
We've heard that kind of through the magistrates that we've talked to today, that they work well together. They've been able to see some programs come together. Tell us what you see. Do you see some of that as far as some continuity involved with the magistrates?
Well, sure. I mean, the magistrates play a big part. The role in county government is basically what we're here for. Whatever the county has to do, and and try to work with the city with different things or whatever, and see where the funding goes. And when we first took office, almost 3 years ago, this is our 4th year coming in now. It wasn't, but you had Matt Bevin as administrator. You go to your conferences, which is another thing I'd like to touch bases on.
Sure.
You attended the conferences, and just getting out and going to these conferences and meeting people from other parts of the state is just overwhelming. Then of course the election came. We changed governors and this and that and the other. So you had some administration change, but it's getting to know people like Senator Jimmy Higdon is now our senator. Kim Keene, just being able to go to those conferences and meet with the governor and his aides and the Department of Transportation people. But as far as for Washington County, the industry, we have a lot of industry here. I think the main thing, in my opinion, is the workforce for these factories. I mean, they're begging. They're begging for help. And, we have a lot of industry here. Inowac needs help. Everybody needs help. And, and what I would like to see is in the vocational schools, in the high schools or whatever, this technical vocation is all geared toward robotics and this and that and the other. But, there's body shops here that I've been in. There's mechanic shops or whatever. In the future, who's going to fix these cars, work on this? You got to be able to, it's good to have robotics and all that, but you got to do hands-on to repair vehicles and, fix their problems. And it's in welding, it's in electrical, it's in heating and air. I mean, nobody wants to do the hard work anymore. And
seems like there is a push for 2-year degrees in things like that, like a plumber and carpentry. And with your community college here in Springfield, also tool and die, electronics. Exactly. That's an important piece of it, isn't it?
Oh, it's very important. But as far as I know, is there a mechanical, as far as working on automobiles, is there a technical, is ECTC offering any of that for bodies?
The only thing I know is like at the vocational school and the Votech centers,
Yeah.
same place that you probably
Yeah,
went,
well, I went
where you
and-
picked up some of your skills. I do think they still do that there.
The basics, we picked up the basics. Mr. Howard Carey, he was a
Yeah,
good teacher,
yeah.
Johnny Cole was over there. He was a good man. But, I think hands-on, working on stuff, and building houses and everything. I mean, they had the carpentry over there.
Sure.
It give you the basics on how to build something or whatever. And I'm sure several of those people that went to the vocational school, they're probably working in a cabinetry in Barber Cabinet or somewhere around, But overall, Washington County is a good county, and I hope to live out the rest of my life here.
Philip Carrico is magistrate, District Number 6. Jeff?
Philip, is there anything else as we get ready to wrap up that you wanted to share with the voters? Anything at all that you want to say to the folks voting out in Washington County today?
I'll just get out, exercise, as John Graves said, exercise your right to vote, and tell everybody that you know to come on out and vote, because it's a choice, and there's a lot of candidates running for different things, and just get out and support and do your part. That's about it.
Thank you for coming. Philip Carrico, he is magistrate for District Number 6, Fredericktown and City Hall. Again, Philip has no opposition, so he'll be on the ballot in the primary and the general election in November, but no opposition. But we appreciate you coming out with no opposition and talking to the folks today.
Glad to be here.
Appreciate you, Philip Carrico. Keep it right here. Up next, we're going to talk to Stephen Von Carney, magistrate candidate for District Number 4, Housing Project and Health Department, a Republican candidate. He'll be in next on G&G Productions.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end. G&G Productions. We're live and free. Production of high school athletics, as well as local community events, and keeping your community informed with political forums. And if you're a candidate looking for social media presence, you need to talk to G&G Production. We can do the production at G&G. If you'd like more information, contact Hal Good at 859-481-2600. G&G Production, taking Marion, Nelson, and Washington County by storm, because we're live and free.
Back at the Opera House in downtown Springfield. If you're just tuning in Facebook Live, we welcome you to this event. This is the first ever that G&G Productions have put together for a political forum. And we're interviewing just different candidates for the positions in Washington County and for Springfield, and we appreciate them coming in. Our next is going to be Stephen Von Carney. Stephen is going to be in opposition in the primary, so he is looking for those votes in the primary so he can move on to the November election. That is for Magistrate District Number 4, the Housing Project and Health Department. Jeff, I'll let you start us.
Stephen, Hal knows you, I know you, but talk a little bit, let the folks out there know a little bit about you. Talk about Stephen Carney and your background and just anything you want to share about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Washington County. I grew up here on Jimtown Road right outside of Springfield, and I've always been very proud to consider myself a citizen and a product of the great influences here in Washington County. I graduated from Washington County High School in 2014. And from there, went to the University of Kentucky to pursue a degree in agricultural economics, seeing as how I had always been raised up around farming. I always had a love for agriculture, love for maintaining the land. So it was only natural that my pursuits in life, that my professional career would be grounded in agriculture. So agricultural economics was a natural choice for me when the time came to pursue higher education. I was fortunately able to graduate a year early from the University of Kentucky with my degree. Stuck with the same degree for the whole time that I was there, and graduated a year early. And when I finished my degree, I came back to Washington County. And there were several reasons for that. I had many family ties here. I came back to help run the family farm. Very proud to do that, and very proud of some of the growth that we've done since I've been able to devote a lot of my full-time work to that farm. So family ties in the farm. I also came back to Washington County to start my own business. I started a real estate and auction company that specializes in farms, land, and agricultural property all over the state. But I wanted to have my business in Washington County because I knew what Washington County had done for me, and I wanted to invest in the community. And that would just be a small part that I could repay Washington County for the great opportunities that it had afforded me. And I also came to Washington County with my business because I believed in the great potential that Washington County had to offer. And I wanted to be able to play a small part in being able to grow Washington County and be able to take a small part in being the future of Washington County.
Let's talk about the position of magistrate. You're running for magistrate, District Number 4, Housing, Project, and Health Department. Talk about what led you to look at that position and what do you feel like that you're going to add to the position?
Absolutely, Hal, and that's a great question. The role of the magistrate, the fiscal court, the county judge executive are extremely important in the daily life, in the growth, and in the development of rural communities such as Washington County and those that surround us, because it's the sole governing body that makes most of the decisions that affect the daily life and the future of the citizens. Your fiscal court, your judge executive, your magistrates sit over allocations of revenue, they appropriate the property taxes of the county, and they also appropriate the necessary services that the citizens of the county can all enjoy. So it's definitely important to sustaining the life that we all enjoy in providing those services. More importantly, in small rural communities like Washington County, your fiscal court is oftentimes where potential investment comes to the county to seek opportunities and look for prospective investments coming into the county. So your fiscal court, your magistrates are oftentimes charged with seeking out opportunities, with evaluating opportunities for Washington County, and deciding if this potential opportunity is going to be something that we want to pursue as a county. They're also in charge for being able to present a palette of options in front of these potential investors to make Washington County a viable option for them. Now, the reason for me deciding to run is because of recognizing how important it is that we get people involved in local government, especially young people. Because I've noticed for several years, many of our young people don't take that have been given the same opportunities that I've been blessed with, haven't been taking those same opportunities to come back to Washington County. And I've looked at that over the course of several years, and I've said, we're not only losing our young people, we're losing the lifeblood of Washington County when people grow up, they take advantage of what Washington County has to offer, but they don't come back to Washington County. Many times they're going off and pursuing college educations. They're going to pursue careers, technical educations outside of the community. They're joining the military and armed service, and I'm thankful for all of that. But at the same time, we can't continue to lose our young people. We can't continue to lose our lifeblood, because if we continue the trend, we're losing our best and brightest year over year, and we're losing the people who truly know and believe in what it means to be a citizen of Washington County. And I can't help but think, and we're losing a lot of potential with that as well. And I can't help but think, if this trend continues, who will be the next generation of people that are running the businesses on Main Street? Who are going to be the next generation of people that are taking on the jobs that we're trying to bring to the community? And I think if we continue to lose our future, who are going to be the next generation of educators, of healthcare professionals, of first responders, firefighters, EMS, police, who live every day to serve. Who will they be? I can't help but think also, who will the next generation be of the civic organizations, the charities, the churches, your Lions Club, your Rotary Club, do so much good for the community who live to serve their communities. And the really scary thought is, if we continue to lose our future, who's the next generation of county government? So what I wanted to do in running, I wanted to run for this office not for myself, but I wanted to run to be a voice for the future of Washington County, because I'm probably one of the youngest people on the ticket for any office anywhere in the state of Kentucky. So I just wanted to send a message by running to the other young people in the community that, you know, they're old enough to make a difference in this community. They're old enough to take ownership of the community. And, you know, even if I don't win this election, if I can encourage other young people to get involved in Washington County, I'll consider that a win.
Jeff?
Well, as we wind up a little bit on our time, if you can tell us, let's get a good critical thing. What do you see as maybe one critical thing for Washington County, and how would you like to work as a member of the court if you're elected to help see that accomplished?
Absolutely. But like I said, the magistrates, the fiscal court, are oftentimes charged with bringing opportunity, bringing growth to Washington County. You know, I'm fortunate to have been blessed with a growth mindset. I've been involved with a lot of things. Besides just farming, besides running my own real estate company, I've been involved with the Alpha Gamma Rho fraternity at the University of Kentucky, at which I still serve on the alumni board. I'm a member of the Agribusiness Association of Kentucky, a very prominent organization representing ag businesses such as mine. I'm the vice moderator of the Central Association of Kentucky Baptists. And in addition, I do a little bit of community service behind the scenes for the award-winning Washington County Commander Marching Band. So I'm definitely proud of the service hours that I have in that. So a lot of things that I'm involved with. But you can ask anyone that I do these things with, and they'll all uniformly tell you that contentment is not something that comes easy to Stephen Carney. I'm always looking for ways to improve. Hal. How do we make things more efficient? How do we make things more effective? How do we provide a better user experience, better experience to the participants or to the end users of the service? So what I believe is, by bringing that growth mindset to the fiscal court, I can bring quite a bit of youthful energy as well to the fiscal court to make the changes, to look for the opportunities, and to make the bright future for Washington County that we can all enjoy. Because I want this to be a community where I can be proud to raise my family, and I want this to be a community for everyone that everyone else can be proud to call home as well.
As we close, any closing comments? Anything you just like for your voting group to know?
Well, absolutely. I don't claim to know all of the answers. If I did know all the answers, Hal, I wouldn't be running for magistrate. But we all have something that we can contribute to the future of Washington County. And it's not always running for office that you can do to build a bright future. We all have things that we can invest. I'm simply here to do something small to help my community, and I'm hoping, and I look forward to working with everyone that's around me and everyone that I'm blessed to be able to work with to help make this community that I'll be proud to live in.
Well, we're proud to have you here, so thank you so much for coming here today. Again, we've been talking with Stephen Von Carney. Stephen is the Republican candidate in the primary for Magistrate District Number 4, the Housing Project and Health Department. He will be on that ballot in the primary, so it's important to make sure to take a listen to what Stephen's had to say today, and we appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you, Hal.
Keep it right here. When we come back, it's going to be Washington County Judge Executive Tim Graves. This is a G&G production of the Washington County Forum.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end.
Hi, I am John Hayden. I am your candidate for mayor of Springfield. Many people have asked me why I want to run for mayor. After some thought, I realized that my purpose is I love to serve. I am a leader in the business world. I am a family man, a husband to my wife Rose, a father to 4 children, and my favorite of all, granddaddy to 5 little ones. I love to serve in the community and I do it well. I feel that those things about my personality are a little of what I have to offer to the community that we all call home. I humbly ask for your vote in November and would love for you and your family to hop on our campaign trail with my family and I. Paid for by John C. Hayden for mayor.
We are back here at Springfield's historic Opera House in downtown Springfield, and we are bringing you the Washington County Forum. We're talking today to political candidates, also new candidates as well as some incumbents, and we have with us right now Washington County Judge Executive Tim Graves. We're going to talk a little bit about Tim. Tim, if you would just tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you're in office now, but tell them a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. I'm a lifelong resident of Washington County, heavy in agricultural background, born and raised on a farm, chose to raise my family here. They were very active on the farm, active in FFA, 4-H through that, and my wife's school teacher has been for 25 years, so she teaches me a lot everywhere I go. So really enjoy the Washington County. You know, I take a position bigger and always better. I like the quaintness and the fellowship that we have in our community. You know your neighbor, you talk to your neighbor. If your neighbor needs help, you help.
Right.
So that's what I love about this county.
Let's talk a little bit about when you decided to run for judge. You've been a judge for 4 years. Some decision-making had to go before you decided to run the first time, but you decided to do this again. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, your first 4 years and what you're seeing.
Sure. In 2018, I decided to put my name on the ballot to become judge, and I found out our former judge, John Settles, was retiring. My main goal was to leave the county better than the way I found it. No disrespect to the previous administration, but I wanted to improve on that. I mean, there's always room for improvement, no matter how good anybody's doing. And I can look every citizen in the eye of this county and tell them that I feel like the county's in better shape now than the way I found it. The magistrates and I work hand in hand. You know, it's not about me, it's not about them, it's about us. And, you know, the old saying, there's no I in team. We are a team, and we work together. We don't play politics, zero. We do what's best for the county. When the fiscal court makes decisions, they make decisions that's the best for the majority of the residents. And that's why I'm so thankful for the support and the camaraderie that I have with my fiscal court. They're an excellent group to work with. And a lot of people think the judge does this, the judge does that. I can't do a thing as judge if they don't support me. So we work together hand in hand, and I'm so thankful for them.
Jeff?
If you can talk a little bit about, in your time in office here, what have you seen that you feel maybe the court has worked well to accomplish, something you want to maybe share that really means a lot to you that you all have accomplished as a group?
Yes. A lot of things, Jeff, but I'll go into infrastructure. You know, I've concentrated really hard on infrastructure. Since being in office, if we talk today, it's 3 years and 4 months. We've put in 9 bridges in 3 years and 4 months. And that's an amazing hurdle. And most of those bridges were done with state funding. We utilized the programs that were offered to us by the state, and we improved infrastructure, and that keeps our residents safe. I'm so pleased with some of the projects we've done, and the magistrates worked with me on that to help us utilize that. So we did the infrastructure, we analyzed the roads and the way the money was being allocated, and we put together a formula to score the roads, and then we put a committee together to look at those roads after we scored them and to pick the roads that were the worst shape, not just because they were in 1 or 2 districts. And we allocate the money to where it needs to go, as opposed to just giving a magistrate so much money and say, spend it on your roads. We go for the need. That system is working immensely great. I'm so pleased that we put that together. Gosh, there's so many things. We restructured the large animal removal. That was needed looking at, and I had to look at it really hard due to state guidelines. We restructured that. We restructured the transfer station. The county was losing in the upwards of $100,000 a year at the transfer station. We've got their program breaking even now. In no way, shape, or form about trying to make money at the county level, but if I can break even, I've had a darn good day. And we're looking at the things that I think are costing the county dollars. You know, we lose money every year on the EMS, we lose money every year on the jail. So those are big budget items, and we're trying to restructure those to get the cost down. And I tell everybody, with the dollars in Washington County, I don't look at dollars, I look at pennies. We have no choice. You know, our tax base is what it is, and we have to work within that. When I came into office, the property tax rate was 8.4. Today, it's 8.4. We have not increased taxes, 0. So we're working to do the best with the county's dollars. And the citizens of Washington County deserve that. You know, I'm a taxpayer too. I don't want to raise taxes because that means I've got to pay them as well. So we make the most with the least and try to cut out the waste and conserve where we can.
We're talking with Washington County Judge Executive Tim Graves, who's the Democratic candidate for county judge, running for re-election. He does not have any opposition in the primary. He will have opposition, Republican opposition, in November. Let's talk a little bit about critical things for Washington County. What are 2 or 3 critical things, you've been in one term, that you see for the future of Springfield and Washington County to really help them prosper?
Well, a lot of people want to talk about economic development, and I've focused already on the quaintness in the community. You know, bigger and always better, but we do need economic development in our county. And when a factory comes and talks to economic directors of any county or any state, they ask 3 things, and you should know this from your past experience in economic development. What's your water capacity, what's your sewer capacity, and what's your unemployment rate? And now we can check 2 of those boxes. We got a $14 million grant to improve our sewer. So that's almost done. So we improved our capacity at our sewer level. We've got grant money to hook on to Boyle County as well as Marion County to back up our water supply. So we're enhancing that. So 2 of those boxes we're checking now. So hopefully we can attract somebody. But the main thing is workforce. You know, fortunately, we're one of the lowest unemployment level in the state, Washington County is. But you got to have workers if you're going to bring economic development to it. You know, so we need the people to go to work. And I spoke yesterday at the high school to the seniors, and one of the questions was, what's our biggest struggles in the county? And I said workforce development. We've got to have the people to go to work. And I encourage those seniors to, you know, if you want a 4-year education, that's fine. If you want to go into the trades, that's fine. If you want to go straight in the workforce, that's fine too. Just get out and work and be a productive member of society. And I also challenged them. I said, I'm going to challenge those students, and I challenge every voter in Washington County to be an educated voter. I want you to go to the polls and vote. I want everybody to vote. And I want you to vote for the person that can do the best job. Don't vote for that person because of their political affiliation. Vote for the person, know the person, study the candidate, vote for the person that can do the best job for Washington County and move us forward like we're going right now.
Closing comments. What would you like to tell the voters of Washington County as you got the summer all the way to November, but you know it's a long summer. But anytime you put your name in, they say it's time to get started.
That's correct.
So you start the campaign. What are some of the main bullet points that you want folks to know?
Well, I've already touched on some of those. You know, I want to challenge the voters of Washington County to be educated voters, study your candidates, go to the polls. And then, like you said, I started campaigning the day after I won the election because that's what it is. You know, and the voters, in a sense, are my boss. Or any elected official's boss. And, you know, if we're not doing a good job, it's their right to vote us out. And that's why I say, educate yourself. Look at our past. Look at our record. Look what we've done. If you agree with it, great. If you don't, that's still fine. That's your right as a citizen. You know, study your candidate and go vote, please. I would love to see 100% voter turnout. Like every registered voter should vote. And as far as my message is still the same, in 2018, I told everybody I want to leave Washington County better than the way I found it. I feel like I've done that. Give me another term, I'm going to keep on improving. I mean, there's the only thing to do is just get better. And I told everybody I was going to work hard to get the job and work even harder to keep it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to work hard to keep it, and I hope they'll give me 4 more years.
Jeff, anything else to close on?
I think that wraps everything up for me. Been a pleasure to have Tim Graves, Washington County Judge Executive, here with us. As Hal mentioned, Tim will not have an opponent in the primary, but he will see opposition in the general election in November. So.
That's Judge Graves with us. We appreciate him coming in. Keep it right here. When we come back, we're going to talk to Fran Carrico, the Washington County PVA. It's next with the Washington County Forum, which is a G&G production.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end. G&G Productions. We're live and free. Production of high school athletics, as well as local community events, and keeping your community informed with political forums. And if you're a candidate looking for social media presence, you need to talk to G&G Production. We can do the production at G&G. If you'd like more information, contact Hal Good at 859-481-2600. G&G Production, taking Marion, Nelson, and Washington County by storm, because we're live and free.
Back here at the Opera House in downtown Springfield, Hal Good and Jeff Borland, we've definitely had a good day so far today talking to candidates for the office of Washington County, different offices that are out there, and we're looking forward to this one. Fran Carrico. Fran Carrico is your PVA of Washington County. She is running unopposed in the primary and also in the general election, but has chose to come here today to talk about the PVA office, which we're very appreciative about that. I think a lot of folks talk about your office, but we want to talk about you. Tell us about Fran Carrico.
Well, I've been in office for 13 years. Very thankful for that opportunity. I've been married to Jimbo Carrico for 16 years, and we have 2 boys. I grew up in the Mooresville community, God's country, as my daddy always called it. So just always kind of a small town girl. After college, came back here and just have loved every minute of it.
Jeff?
What made you decide to seek office when you first decided to seek PVA's office?
So the position became available, and after college, I always worked in government, state government, for the Economic Development Cabinet, and I've just always been fascinated by government and how it works. So it was just something I decided that I really wanted to go for, and to come back home and work, I was going to Frankfort every day. So I inherited a very well-run office. Even when I came in, the representatives from the Department of Revenue said, you are inheriting a very well-run office, which is kudos to Margaret Platt and Barbara Stump before her. So it was just a wonderful opportunity, and I think I've been able to build on their success.
Let's talk about the PVA office. What exactly would you do in a day-to-day, or even, I know a lot of things you pay your PVA yearly, but what are some of the things that you do in the PVA office?
Well, actually, we do not set tax rates, and we do not collect taxes. So the rates are set by the individual districts, and the taxes are collected either by the city of Springfield or the Sheriff's Department here in Washington County. So, but it takes us almost a year to create your tax bill. We have to maintain records on all property in the county, identify it on a map, pictures and outer dimensions of houses, characteristics of those structures, just a wide variety of information. We monitor and maintain ownership records on all property. So there's a lot that goes into that, a lot of data. And that's what I've really tried to focus on when I have come in, of how we can improve that. By the use of newer technology, new software that's out there, maybe streamline things and make things more available to the public. So one of the first things I did my first year in office was to create a website. And we have pretty much added to that almost every year, so that bankers, appraisers, surveyors, insurance offices, mortgage lenders, whomever, real estate brokers they can go into that website portal. There's a subscription service, and they can basically find about anything they can get from our office. And that proved to be invaluable during the pandemic because maybe they weren't physically able to come to the office. So everything was right there and work just went right on. So we've really tried to develop that. There are now GIS mapping that we use to identify parcels. We have some fantastic new aerials that are on there, which really allow you to see a lot in the county. So we've really tried to promote that and got a lot of very positive feedback on that.
Well, if I can just segue into it, the data is the reason a lot of people come to your office.
Yes.
They want to know about the property. They don't know about the property boundaries. So those type of improvements are helping for people just coming to look at this community, whether through real estate or through a personal purchase. They're going to come by your office first.
Yes, a lot of times. We have to help people do a lot of research, a lot of questions. Sometimes we can answer them, sometimes we can't. But we try to put that best foot forward out there and let them know everything that we know about the property.
Jeff?
Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that are really critical for Washington County right now that would connect with property valuation and things that relate to your job and your department for Washington County's future?
Well, I do see a lot of growth in the county in terms of our population hasn't really boomed. I know Judge Graves and I have talked about that. There seem to be a lot of people moving in in the county from maybe larger cities, even other states that maybe, especially because of the pandemic, they just felt like they were living too close to people. So they want to come to that country setting. So we have seen, I think, a lot of growth and a lot of new folks coming in. So we have seen some corridors in the county that have kind of opened up that are prime for new development and those types of things. So we've seen a lot of that as we go out because we have to physically inspect property. So we see a lot of that. Everyone knows what's happened with the real estate market the last several years. It has just absolutely exploded. That has kept us extremely busy trying to keep up with that and evaluate all that data. So much of what you see that's going on statewide and nationally with the market has also happened here. So a lot of growth.
Well, again, we thank you for coming in, but we want to make sure to get the message from the PVA office out to the folks in Washington County. What is something that maybe we haven't asked you that you feel like we need to get out there about your office that would be important for folks to know in Washington County?
Well, I just want everybody to know that our door is always open. I don't always have a very popular job. We work with assessments, and so that assessment then turns into, multiplied by the tax rate, a tax bill. People don't like to pay taxes. But unfortunately, we have a job to do, and standards and KRS and International Association assessors guidelines to follow. So we try to do a good job in doing that. But if you have a question about your assessment, if you have a question about your bill, need further explanation, please call us. We really try to, demystify everything, let everybody know what we're doing, and we're always open and available to do that.
Can we get the website? You want to give that?
Sure, WashingtonKYPVA.com. And there is a subscription service on there so that you can get more of the details on the specific structures. But there's a lot of general information and forms and documents on there, too, that I think everyone will find useful.
Well, again, no opposition for Fran Carrico in the PVA office for the primary or the general election in November, but she chose to come in today, and we appreciate that to get the word out to Washington County. So thank you again for coming in.
Well, thanks for this opportunity.
Keep it right here. When we come back, we've got more from the first ever Washington County Forum brought to you by G&G Productions. We're going to talk to John Hayden. John is a candidate for the Springfield mayor position. That's next here on G&G Productions.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end.
Hi, I am John Hayden. I am your candidate for mayor of Springfield. Many people have asked me why I want to run for mayor. After some thought, I realized that my purpose is I love to serve. I am a leader in the business world. I am a family man, a husband to my wife Rose, a father to 4 children, and my favorite of all, granddaddy to 5 little ones. I love to serve in the community and I do it well. I feel that those things about my personality are a little of what I have to offer to the community that we all call home. I humbly ask for your vote in November and would love for you and your family to hop on our campaign trail with my family and I. Paid for by John C. Hayden for mayor.
We're back at the Opera House in downtown Springfield. It's the Washington County Forum. Thank you for joining us. I'm Hal Good, Jeff Moreland, veteran editor and newspaper individual within the state of Kentucky, longtime editor for the Springfield Sun. We're glad to be a part of your day and hope it's been informational for you. Please like and share this page as much as you can so we can continue to get the word out. John Hayden is a candidate for the office of Springfield Mayor. He joins us now. John, thank you for joining us here today. We appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about John Hayden. Talk a little bit about yourself.
Well, John Hayden grew up in Washington County, graduated high school in 1981 with Mr. Hal Good here.
I wouldn't put that on my reference. Thank you for saying that.
Married Rose, my wife. She's from the burg. She's actually Philip Carrico's sister, and we're coming up on 35 years of marriage now. And we've got 4 kids. 3 out of the 4 are living in Springfield. One, Curry, he's training dogs in Kansas City, Missouri.
How about that?
He's home for the weekend. Actually, he's home for Easter. We're glad to see him. We got 5 grandchildren here in town. Margaret and Lance have 3, and Lizzie and Maze have 2. We got 2 girls and 3 boys. So I've been in business now for 35 years, self-employed. We build roads. We do construction work. That's pretty much John Hayden.
Jeff.
John, you've got a lot of business experience. What made you decide to run for the office of mayor of Springfield, a position that will also be overseeing the business of a city?
Well, and I'm glad you asked me that question, because my ability to lead is where I'm best able to serve. And I've led my business now for 35 years, and I've gotten my business in a shape, and I've surrounded myself with just a tremendous group of really good people. And all I do at work now is pretty much steer the ship, which is going to give me the ability to have time to spend as the mayor, to oversee the city and be the leader of the city. And I want to do the same thing for the city that I've done at work, and which is surround myself with a bunch of good people and let them do their job. Let them lead. All I need to do is guide them and lead them and let them do their job. And I think we can do great things in the city with a group of people that mesh together and work together. With my foresight and my ability to lead them, I think we can steer the ship of the city to go and start to do some great things.
Talk about the office of Springfield Mayor. Talk a little bit about what you've already kind of led into your expertise and your business fashion and business profile that you have going into that. But how do you see it in some of the things that you feel like that you can add and contribute to it?
I think really what I can add to it is from my business experience. I mean, in the road construction business, it is problem solving on a daily basis. We're either dealing with rain, broken down equipment, lack of help. It doesn't really matter. We're continually dealing with struggles and changes and adapting and moving forward. And I don't feel that the city will be any different. It will take some leadership, some guidance, some creativeness. You always have to have creativeness in the business world. And I don't see how the city will be any different than that. You're going to get curveballs. You got to figure out how to hit that curveball
and how to take the city forward in a positive manner. And that's mostly going to be from the team of folks that are doing this, and and getting them with the vision that I have for the city. The key to this is the vision, that everybody on the team is working together as one to move forward in the goals and objectives that we're going to come up with.
Jeff?
Talk about some of the things you see as critical for Springfield and Washington County as well, because you'll be working, in the county. Talk about the things you see that are really critical, maybe 3 items that are for the future of Springfield.
I think number one is jobs. I don't think that you as a city can function properly and move forward without jobs. And I have a little slogan that's 404. I'm committed to raising 400 jobs in 4 years. Now, I'm committed to doing that in conjunction with the county. It's not going to be something we're going to do by ourselves. We got to work with the county. We've got $27 million coming into our county in the next 2 years. It was just announced. And what that's going to do is that's going to build the infrastructure that we need in surrounding. We're going to get road improvements coming in and out of Springfield, in and out of Washington County. We're going to get the infrastructure we need. Another item that we've got going on in the state right now, which is humongous, it's a $5 billion factory being built in E-Town. If we, as the leaders of the city and the county, do not tap into that coming, because all of us sitting here are old enough to remember Toyota. Okay, when Toyota came to Kentucky, Martha Lane Collins was the governor, and we thought she was the dumbest human being in the world. She gave Toyota everything they needed to come. We would not know how to function in Kentucky without Toyota right now. I feel that this industry coming in E-Town is going to do the same thing for Kentucky. It's going to do the same thing for Springfield. Look at what is functioning in Springfield right now, servicing Toyota. That's who they're servicing. Somebody is going to have to service the battery factory coming in E-Town. Now, one would say, okay, well, where are we going to get the people? Well, it's the chicken before the egg, people. We got to get the factories first. You got to get the factories to understand that it's their job to get the people. And we can help that through career-ready things, through things that are going on. At Ram Contracting, we addressed this 2 or 3 years ago, and we started our own apprentice program. We've not hired a person over 22 years old in 2 years. And we do not have workforce problems. We're continually hiring. I don't mean it that way. But we're not out not doing work because we don't have people that don't show up for work, or we don't have enough people. We don't have that problem because of our apprentice program, because our change in our mentality that you got to have a 50-year-old to run that bulldozer. No, you don't. You got to have people. You got to have good people. And then they can go to work and do the good job. And I really feel that the 400 jobs in 4 years is not a stretch. I think it can happen. The second thing is that revitalization of downtown. I'm not talking about paint colors. I'm not talking about new buildings. I'm talking about more energy, more restaurants, more stores, foot traffic downtown. We need to re-energize Springfield. We need to get more people coming and going. We need to create job situations. And in the city, I think we can help manage that. I mean, we may have to get creative. The city may have to do something in order to help that person start a restaurant. I don't know the rules and the regulations on that, but that goes back to my ability and having the problems that come up on a road job. Figure it out. There's ways to do things that are different and creative and just make things work. I mean, you got to do it right. I'm not saying that, but there's ways to do it. You just got to get a group of folks together, come up with ideas, and make it happen. But I think the revitalization of Springfield and energy. We need energy downtown. We need a new set of faces downtown, and I think we can make that happen. We need foot traffic, and that's probably part of that revitalization and energy. Then my third thing is and it's double-folded. It's actually both of them need to happen, and I'm not sure. Well, probably the infrastructure needs to happen first. And actually the city's working on that. I know they got a sewer job going on right now. They got water issues that they're working with them. So some of the infrastructure is going to happen. But with this $27 million coming, more of that's going to happen, which is going to be back to my third thing, or part of my third thing, is homes and subdivisions. We can't bring in 400 new jobs for executives to not have a place to live, or even the workforce to not have a place to live. So we got to create those situations, and we got the road structure to do that. I mean, we've got the road around Springfield. Now we need to start filling it up with some people that got good jobs in town and not leaving the county, and they got a new home. They got a, they got a new home. Maybe some of the older folks in town want a new home, and it's going to open up older homes in town for the younger folks to come get it. So that's my thing.
Well, very good. And John, as we were finishing up here, we want to make sure to get your final comments. What's something that we haven't asked you, or something that you'd like the folks for the city of Springfield to know?
I think what they really need to know is that I probably come off a little bit harsh. I am not harsh. I'm a tremendous leader. I lead through 4 categories. I lead through confidence. I lead through cooperation. I lead through service, and I lead through purpose. And I use these 4 things in a daily event to make sure that I'm leading and treating people in the manner and making things happen. I make things happen.
Thank you, John. John Hayden, he's a candidate for the mayor's office for the city of Springfield, which is going to be part of the general election. So not the primary, but the general election is what that would be on. So we appreciate you putting your name in, but more than anything, coming to be a part of our forum today.
Thank you all.
Thank you, John. Keep it right here. You got more to come with the Washington County Forum on G&G Productions.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end. G&G Productions. We're live and free. Production of high school athletics, as well as local community events, and keeping your community informed with political forums. And if you're a candidate looking for social media presence, you need to talk to G&G Production. We can do the production at G&G. If you'd like more information, contact Hal Good at 859-481-2600. G&G Production, taking Marion, Nelson, and Washington County by storm, because we're live and free.
Back here at the Opera House in downtown Springfield, thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. Don't forget, if you have just tuned in, this whole production we've done today will be available on the G&G Productions Facebook page. You can go back and watch any segment. You can go back and watch it all at any time. And don't forget, it's been produced live, but it is free. And feel free to share it and give us a like or a heart, and that will share it as well as we move through our last segments here today. Brett Berry is a candidate for the Washington County Clerk's office. She's a Democrat. She will have no opposition in the spring for the primary, but will in the general election in the fall of November. But thank you for joining us. Let's talk about you. Tell us a little bit about Brett.
Well, I am from the Burg, of course. Went to Washington County High School. Went to college. Took me about 6 years to realize college wasn't for me. The big city wasn't for me. So I found my husband and brought him home. So we built a house on our family farm. We have 2 kids, a freshman in college and a freshman in high school. And I have been at the clerk's office for 19 years now. So when I did move home, that was my first job, and I've been there ever since.
Awesome. Jeff?
I'm feeling old because I know those kids, and they can't be that old, but apparently they are. So I guess they're catching up with me.
They are.
Talk a little bit about what made you decide to run for office, if you would.
Well, like I said, when I did move home, I was very fortunate to be hired by Glenn Black. And at the time, I had no idea what I was doing. It was just such a whole new area, but I had always served the public. So being in the public and serving people was just kind of part of it. And then over the years, you know, Glenn was a wonderful boss, and then Teresa took over, and her knowledge was incredible. So hopefully, over the years, I have taken in her knowledge as well. The job itself has been it's provided for our family. It's allowed me to be a mother. You know, it's allowed me to work in the public and volunteer, get to know people in town. And the job is so much more, I think, than anyone ever realizes. But every day we learn. Every day things change. So along with, you know, the excitement of being a part of every election, everything in between, it is just fun.
Talk about the position of the Washington County Clerk and revamp a little bit more about your time that you spent in that office.
In our office, I think compared to a lot of the other counties, it's kind of unique. Most of you obviously have been there to renew your vehicle, so we get to see you at least once a year generally. Our office is tiny. There's 5 women in one little office, so you have to be creative, and you have to, you know, everybody kind of knows everything that's going on. So your job, you know, you may have your main job and your main duties of the day, but if someone is out, you learn all the other aspects of the job as well, whether it be, you know, registering voters, recording documents, all the real estate, marriage licenses, the everyday transferring of the vehicles and the motor vehicle part that most people deal with us. So it is a lot. And like I said, when laws change, our jobs change.
Plus, a primary place, you run elections.
Yes.
The elections are all there and they run out of that office. Talk about that.
In the years past, you know, it was kind of like the back of your hand. You knew the elections, you knew the process, you knew what needed to be done, you knew the timeline. COVID changed a lot of how things are going, opened up way many more options for voters to vote. It's not just one day of election voting from 6 to 6 on election day. It's so many more opportunities. So you really need to contact our office if you want to learn more about that. It's a year-round deal. You know, it's not just you're getting ready for one election. It's something year-round. You have to keep up. Laws change every single day. But it's exciting and it's fun. Election day itself, we're there for, 12, 14, 16 hours, depending upon how things go. And not once does anybody complain. It's a joy to be there and be a part of it.
Jeff.
Talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you may have seen with the changes. You mentioned COVID, and we have early voting now that we didn't have years ago.
Right.
The differences you see. Talk about some of those changes if you can.
It's a lot more convenient to the voter. No one has a reason not to vote unless you just choose not to. And I know Teresa is going to talk more about this here in a little bit and give you more of the details, but there's early voting, there's absentee voting, there's your normal voting days. There's no reason not to vote. And that's our main mission, because the work we put in year-round comes out on election day. So we want every voter to vote, and that's our mission, is just to get it out there and get the words going that, it's your community. You have a say. Even locally, state level, and federal level, you want to get your vote in.
As Brett said a moment ago, we're going to talk after the interviews. Our last part of our segment program is going to be with Teresa Mernon. Teresa Mernon is the Washington County Clerk who has decided not to run, but she's going to go over every aspect of voting, whether absentee, if you haven't registered, what happens with that. We're going to go over everything with her in a segment that's coming up. Thank you for mentioning that, Brett, and let me talk a little bit about it. How have you seen, especially as Jeff mentioned through COVID, but the voting public, what are the most questions you're getting? Are you getting questions more like we used to have 15 precincts and now a few, but that's because we're putting more together? Because, maybe you didn't need 15, but right. What are you hearing from the voting public?
There's definitely pros and cons. We went to voting centers during COVID, and there's a lot of changes, and, you have to figure out what's best for the county and the voters as a whole. A lot of the pros we heard about that is when you go in to vote, you get to see more people. Cost-wise, it's more cost-efficient for the county because you have less poll workers, and, that cuts down on the cost. But, the voting centers have been easier as far as the coordination of everything. And I think across the state, that's what we're seeing a lot more is going to the voting centers rather than your precinct, which you still have your voting precinct. So you still vote according to, the area that you live in. You just may not, go to your specific precinct to vote.
Jeff.
Anything that you see is critical for voters to know or to be aware of, I guess, as we get ready for this election? Anything that they need to make sure they're doing? I know we have a deadline coming up Monday.
Right.
So anything?
Voter registration ends Monday at 4. Everything has to be in. If you're not registered to vote, that needs to be in. And I think just watch your social media. You're more than welcome to call our office at any time. Watch your newspapers. There's going to be ads ran. Of course, G&G, I think, is going to run stuff as far as your voting locations, when that begins, what area you meet if you're disabled or anything like that. There's a portal, which is a whole other story, which we will be more than glad to explain through our office. So a lot of it is just don't be scared to reach out. Don't be afraid to vote because that's your right, and we will help in any way we can to get that.
You're no opposition in the primary, but you will in the fall. What do you want the voters of Washington County to hear from you today as we close?
I think overall, looking back 19 years ago, I would have never have thought of myself being in a political office. And now I just can't imagine being anywhere else. I have learned so much, and through Glenn and Teresa and their knowledge and us working as a team, it's a fun job. I do not have a day where I dread going into work. It's just been fun all the way around. So I'm experienced, and hopefully now you can put my face together because I know everybody sees my face, but they don't realize I'm Brett. So hopefully you're going to put that together and remember me when it comes time in November.
Thank you so much for coming today, Brett. We appreciate it. Again, we've been talking with Brett Berry. She's a Democratic candidate for the Washington County Clerk's position. No opposition in the primary, but we'll have opposition in the general election in November. Now, as we mentioned a moment ago, coming up next, we had a chance yesterday. I took the G&G production team to the Washington County Clerk's office. We talked to Teresa Bernin. Teresa is the current Washington County Clerk, who is not running, as we just mentioned, but we wanted to ask those tough questions about voting, where we vote, how to vote. It's changed a lot since COVID-19, and it's going to be something that will probably continue to change in the future. But it's a great interview. I encourage you to stay tuned for that. After that, when we finish up, we're going to come back. We're going to go through every candidate that is running for office in the primary and also in the general election. Again, everyone was invited to attend this forum, and we encouraged anyone to come that wanted to be a part of it to do what we've done throughout the day. But we are going to do that also before we wind up. But we appreciate you for being a part of Facebook Live and the Washington County Forum, which is a G&G production.
Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end.
Hi, I am John Hayden. I am your candidate for mayor of Springfield. Many people have asked me why I want to run for mayor. After some thought, I realized that my purpose is I love to serve. I am a leader in the business world. I am a family man, a husband to my wife Rose, a father to 4 children, and my favorite of all, granddaddy to 5 little ones. I love to serve in the community, and I do it well. I feel that those things about my personality are a little of what I have to offer to the community that we all call home. I humbly ask for your vote in November and would love for you and your family to hop on our campaign trail with my family and I. Paid for by John C. Hayden for mayor.
Hi again, everybody. Hal Good here with G&G Productions, and we are at the Washington County Courthouse in the county clerk's office. Teresa Vernon is the county clerk. She's invited us in, and what we want to talk about with our programming we've been doing throughout the day. You've heard from the candidates, and you've also heard about a lot of voting and how to vote and when to vote, because it's changed a lot. And we thought it'd be good to spend just a few minutes with Teresa. And Teresa is an outgoing county clerk and has done just a wonderful job here as Washington County Clerk. We're appreciative of your hard work. Let's talk about the county clerk's office. There might be some folks that have no idea what goes on in this archive room or what we're doing here. Talk about the clerk's office a moment.
Okay, the clerk's office does quite a bit of things. One of the main things that you see us most for is your motor vehicle licensing and titling. We also do all the land recordings for your deeds and your mortgages. We do marriage records. We actually hold the elections for our county. But there's several different things that we do, down to franchise tax. So several things.
There's still some folks that don't realize that the historic courthouse houses the marriage license for Abraham Lincoln's parents.
That is correct.
That is correct. So it is here in this building.
It's under lock and key in this building.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great piece of history about Washington County. Let's talk elections. You know, this is going to be an interesting election coming after COVID-19. Let's just go over some general things like how about the polls themselves? Where are the polls located at in Washington County, and when do they open?
Okay, just to start out with, we'll start with Election Day. Election Day, we're going to have 4 voting centers, as they're called now, and they're going to be located. The first one is at Washington County Elementary Middle School, that used to be the old high school, up here on Lincoln Park Road, and then North Washington School out at Willisburg. And then the Washington County Extension Office that's on Corporate Drive, which is right off 555. Good access from 555. And then the last one to try to get the farther end of that county is the Holy Trinity Parish Center. That was a precinct location when we had the original 14.
So in Fredericktown will be that other voting precinct. Okay, good for those voting precincts. What time has that changed, or is the time that you can come and vote? Because this might be a good time to also talk about early voting, but also just general. When do the polls open and close?
On Election Day, they're the same, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And all 4 of these locations, any registered voter in the county can go to these locations. So if you're coming back from Lexington or Bardstown from work, whichever location works best for you, you can vote at any of these 4 locations on Election Day.
So if you live in Pottsville, let's say, you could vote in Fredericktown.
Correct. Like if you work in E-Town or Bardstown,
correct. Okay.
you can vote down
Very
there.
good. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. Early voting is another option, and that you do not have to have an excuse. They started that during the COVID elections, and that really worked out well. But there's 3 days of that. It starts May 12th. Thursday, May 12th, Friday, May 13th, and Saturday, May 14th. That is for 8 hours. That's from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And that one, like I said, you do not have to have an excuse. It's just like an election day. It's just if it works out better for your schedule. And that's going to be here in our building in the 1816 courthouse, down where the museum is now.
We talked a little bit about registration to vote with some folks earlier today, and there's still questions on that. And because there's some that cannot register maybe a certain way before the election in May. Talk a little bit about registration to vote.
Yes, here in Kentucky, if you want to change your party, you actually should have done that by December 31st. They have a really early deadline to change your party to vote in a primary. So if you want to change your party, you can go ahead, but you will not be allowed to vote in the primary, but you would be fine and set up for the general. But the deadline to just actually register and change your address for this upcoming primary is Monday, the 18th at 4 p.m. And you can come by the
18th of April, right?
18th of April.
There you
this
go.
coming
Thank you.
Monday.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so there is time there.
By 4 p.m.
Okay.
So there's 2 ways to do that. You can go online to govote.ky.gov, or you can stop by our office and fill out a card, and then we'll get that updated for you.
Talking to Teresa Vernon, she is the Washington County Clerk. Early voting. Talk about the early voting period and a little bit about that again. I think it's important because it's just a little different.
It is, and there's more options than we've ever had. So just to talk about the absentee mail-in ballots, you actually have to order that through an online portal, or we will assist you here at the clerk's office. You can call us. We just have to talk to the voter that wants the ballot over the phone to verify their identity. But that portal actually opened April 2nd, but it will run through May 3rd, and that way you can get a mail paper ballot. But like I said, if you have any trouble with the portal or just don't have access to a computer, just call us here at the office. That number, which we'll give it out again, is 859-336-5425, and we can assist you with that. We also have a new way of voting. It's called absentee walk-in absentee voting, but you have to have an excuse. You can't. It's not like the early voting that we're having closer to election day. This is if you're going to be out of town. You know you're going to be out of town. You're a student that is in town for a little while we're conducting this, and then you can come in and vote that way. Actually get a ballot and vote on the machine. So that actually happens from May 4th to May 11th. That'll be our regular office hours, 9 to 4:30. Now, if you have any questions on eligibility for that, if you can just call us at the office, we can give you more information on if you qualify for that.
Are there limits who can request a ballot? Is there any type of limits or any type of a way if someone wanted to request a ballot that they could or could not?
Well, the two options, is for a paper ballot, it has to be done through the portal that the Secretary of State and the State Board of Elections have set up. So that's the part. We can assist you with that, but that will be done through an online portal, either by yourself or with us helping you here at the clerk's office.
This is a tremendous job in putting it together to get ready to vote. We commend you. I can only imagine dealing with it during COVID-19. I know I was speaking with someone about how I voted from home and how I never missed an election, but voting from home, it was so odd. And now we're seeing a little more difference. What do you see on down the road? Because this will be an office, unfortunately, that won't have you in it. But what do you see? Do you see any more big changes in the county clerk's office?
Well, I'm hoping that in future, because we need a lot more room here, that we may get more room for that. But there's actually, with the election, it used to be an election time period during the year. It seems like it's ongoing. You've always got deadlines for reports and that kind of thing. But I think with the election in particular, they took some things that were good from the COVID elections, and they try to put that in with how the regular election was run. And I think some of the laws that were passed, I think if they go well, they'll keep a lot of this process.
Parting comments. Do you have anything else that we can talk to about voting or a message you'd like to send to the voters of Washington County?
Well, just seeing the numbers. I mean, local elections bring out a lot of people. Federal presidential elections bring out a lot of people. But, some elections we don't have a big turnout. And I think it's very, very important to try to find out about the candidates, who they are, what they're for, and get out. And with all these options that we have now, it's really a lot easier to vote.
Now, so I'm not going to ask any unfair questions, but let me ask one, because you probably know this. How many registered voters are there in Washington County?
Well, it changes.
And I know it's changing. It's ongoing.
We have over 9,000. I don't have right now.
No. That's fine. That's fine to kind of get that idea. And I know in the past, because I follow this, percentages of people that vote. How's that been holding on even through a COVID-19? Because I've seen as low as 16% when I was a magistrate here, and I've seen as high as about 40 to 45%.
And I won't have the exact percentage because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but we had a high rate during COVID because of the elections,
Yeah, the ability to work to vote from home. Makes sense.
But some elections, it's, less than 20%, which you hate to see. But
yes.
That happens because the cost of the election and just...
That's correct.
Just the importance of it. It would be good if everyone could try to use one of these options and get out and vote.
Well, you've been great. If one of our voters, again, has a question about anything we've talked about or anything we haven't talked about, what's that best number to call?
The best number is 859-336-5425, and we are open 9 to 4:30. So we would be available during those hours.
Well, as a public servant of Washington County, we thank you for your work, and we know you're going to finish that up with 2 elections you got this year. But we thank you for the time you put in. Because how long have you been here in this courthouse? Because you worked for Bubba Robinson.
That's
I know,
right. I've had 2 great bosses, Bubba Robertson and Glenn Black. But I started when I was 19. I've been here. Next month it'll be 31 years.
There you
that
go.
I've been here. So
there you go. Well,
it's
thank
been
you.
great.
Thank you again. The information's been great. Folks, we've been talking to Teresa Mernon. She's the Washington County Clerk, talking about voting in Washington County. Keep it right here. We're going to go back live to the Opera House right after this on G&G Productions. Solving real problems takes real commitment and vision. For more than 110 years, the Rotary Club have been people of action, involved to use their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Springfield Rotary Club, they follow that mission today in Springfield, helping those in need with community projects like the Idle Hour Park outside workout equipment, or the Booker Road Boat Dock, to donating thousands of dollars to worthwhile projects in Springfield and Washington County. Service above self, the Washington County Rotary Club. Join today. The Springfield Rotary Club meets every Thursday at noon at Mordecai's on Main, or you may call 859-481-3981 for more information. Springfield Rotarians, always working to better our world, and we stay committed to the end.
Back here for our final break on G&G Productions, Hal Good, Jeff Moreland. We're going to finish things up by going over all the candidates, but we'd be remiss if we didn't, first of all, thank some of the folks that have been a part of what we've done today. And again, our folks at Pixel Phase that we work with in all of our football and basketball, Matthew and Sean, they're great partners. They are truly a part of G&G Productions. Just to let you know, but they just great to work with and great for our success in G&G. So Matt, Sean, thank you all very much. And again, Lauren Hayden, we appreciate you. Laura Hayden is the Springfield Main Street Renaissance Executive Director. She came today and helped us, and we appreciate her being a part of this, helping get folks in and out. It's a big production. But we also want to thank the Springfield Rotary Club. You've been seeing about membership in the Rotary Club through their ads. You've been seeing about the dollars they give to the community, but also the support that they give to small businesses like G&G Production. We've worked with them on the Rotary auction, but it's a very great club, and we commend them in every step that they make. One thing that we wanted to do as we wound up is basically show you every person that has so far put their name in to run for public office. It's important. This is a program that's important for you to know, but it's important for you to know, again, who is running for the particular office. So we're going to start out with Judge Executive. Again, there is no primary for either one of these. Democrat Timmy E. Graves, Judge Graves, and then also William B. Blair Jr., the Republican, better known as Bud Blair. They will be running in that November election. For sheriff, the current sheriff, Jerry D. Pinkston. Jerry Pinkston's a Democrat. He's the incumbent. He'll be running against Joe Carpenter. Joe Carpenter is the Republican. And again, no primary for either one of those individuals. It will be in the general election in November. And for county attorney, Bill Robinson, the Democrat, he will have no opposition in the primary nor in the general election. Jeff?
We have 3 additional races here that don't have any opposition, and they are the office of coroner, and that'll be Garland Lynn Benedict. Everybody knows Lynn Benedict, Republican. For jailer, we have Joe Mudd. Joe Mudd is a Republican. And for PDA, we just had Fran Carrico in with us a bit ago. She will be the unopposed Democrat in the Property Valuation Administrator's office race. We do have a race in the primary for county clerk, and that will be Richie Hamilton, a Republican, and Keith Anthony White as a Republican. Those two will square off in the primary, and the winner will advance to the fall, where they will face Brett True Berry. Brett's a Democrat, so she'll have no opposition in the primary, but she will see the winner of those two in the fall.
Now for some of the magistrate positions. Magistrate District Number 1, Morrisville, Brush Grove, and Sharpsville. G&G Productions were proud to be able to honor in our own way Terry Tingle earlier. He has decided not to run again, but has spent many years as magistrate of District number 1. Running are Republicans. So this race will be decided in the primary. There is no fall opposition. Those running are Michael Gaudier, Fergus Cooper McCain, Dallas Lewis, Rod Thompson. Again, all are Republicans, and that, again, will be a primary, and that's when that position will be determined. Now for Magistrate District number 2, Willisburg and the Courthouse. The incumbent is Steve Devine. He is the Republican, and the Democrat that will be running Timothy A. McAvoy. He is the Democrat. There is no primary for that race. Again, that race will be determined in the fall in November, in that November race. And finally, Magistrate District number 3, Cardwell, Mackville, and Pottsville. Bobby Lee Russell is the Republican, and he has no opposition for the primary nor the general election. Jeff?
We jump over to Magistrate District 4. We have a race in the primary between 2 Republican candidates, and those 2 would be Stan K. Kenny Harden and Stephen Vaughn Carney. Stephen joined us here today. Those 2 Republicans will square off. The winner will advance to the fall, where they will face Sue McIntyre Blair. Sue is a Democrat with no opposition in the primary, so she will advance to the general election in the fall. And it would go over to District 5, Magistrate District 5. That race, we have 1 candidate from each party, so that race will actually be decided in the primary. That'll be the incumbent John H. Graves, a Democrat, and he'll square off against Matthew Medley, who's a Republican. And then finally for District 6, we have unopposed incumbent Democrat Philip Carrico.
Now for Constable District number 5, no opposition, is David A. Donathan. He is a Republican. And then we have several that have already applied to run for either mayor of City of Springfield or for the council. Now that deadline to file is June the 7th. But these are the individuals who have filed for that. Mayor of Springfield, John Curry Hayden, and the other individual is Chris Essex. Again, this is a nonpartisan position, Republican or Democrat. It does not matter on that. Now for the City Council of Springfield, Terrence Patrick McCain and Richard Lance Smith have both committed that they are going to run for the Springfield City Council. And then finally, I have one last sheet, Jeff, and I'll go on and get that. I didn't make him a copy there, so there we go. I'll finish up on that. Mayor of Willisburg, Wanda K. Thompson will be running for that position for the mayor of Willisburg. And then those who have filed to run for City Council of Willisburg, Cynthia Hanlon, Judy K. Stein, and Timothy R. Stein are all running for the City Council. And again, those are nonpartisan positions. Well, as we finish up today, I do want to turn to my colleague, Jeff Moreland, just for a moment. Thank you for coming. You were the first person that G&G Productions thought about for your fairness. You always were in the city of Springfield as editor. And then, you've spent a lot of time writing for rural newspapers as well as statewide newspapers and covering local elections. And your expertise was golden today.
I appreciate that. Pleasure to be part of it. Always a pleasure to work with you and everybody with G&G Productions. So it's a pleasure to be here and be part of Springfield and Washington County's election process.
And you as the viewer, we want to thank the Springfield Rotary Club for being a part of this. And again, Springfield Rotary Club believing in what we could do as G&G Productions to help inform the community. And that's what this was all about. We feel like that we've had great successes in high school football and high school basketball. And as we like to say, there's more to come, much more, as we start planning for that. But we also want to put our toe in the water, if you will, to see how we can work with informing you about what's going on in your community. And I think we've done just that today. We thank those that did commit it. Again, we sent letters and we made phone calls to every person who has applied to run for a public office in Washington County. But we know that with that being said, there'll be more and more to come as the election cycle starts to regenerate in Washington County. For Jeff Moreland and our friends at Pixel Phase Media, that's going to wind up our coverage today, and we want to hear from you. Make sure to jump on Facebook and give us any messages that you'd like to see us to do with G&G Productions in any future Facebook Live. That's going to wind things up. From the Opera House in downtown Springfield, Hal be good. Wishing you and yours a happy Easter. So long, everyone.
You've been listening to the Washington County Forum 2022 from downtown Springfield at the historic Opera House. Our coverage has been brought to you by the Springfield Rotary Club, The following was a G&G production. No rebroadcast or audio from this program can be used without written consent and approval from G&G Productions or its ownership.